Hey, I'm Kevin with Rimshot Drum Studios, and today I want to show you a really simple but effective shuffle groove that I've been using for a long time. And this is kind of an alternative to some of the more complex shuffle grooves that you might hear, particularly blues shuffle. And rather than, if you're familiar with some of the other blues shuffles, you'll know that usually in a blues shuffle, you get your left hand kind of going with the backbeat and the shuffle feel. So let's say you're playing quarter notes on the ride cymbal and you're playing quarter notes on the kick drum and you're shuffling the left hand, it would sound something like... Now that's not super hard at a slow tempo, but once you start speeding it up, it takes a lot of finesse to be able to play those very light skip beats along with the louder backbeat in the left hand on the snare drum. If you're a beginner to intermediate drummer and you need to get that same kind of a feel, but you don't quite have the control to do the snare drum that quickly, this groove that I'm going to show you is a way to get that same kind of sound. And it's a lot easier. So what we're going to do is, ignoring the left hand for right now, you want to start out by playing straight quarter notes on the ride cymbal and on the kick, just like we just did. So that would sound like this. And then what we're going to do, once you kind of have those together, you're going to start doing a skip beat between the ride cymbal and the snare drum. So the ride cymbal is still going to play quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, but then you're going to put the 1, on the snare drum. And the way that I do that is that I play the quarter note and then I flip my hand over and hit the snare drum. I do this kind of flipping back and forth. So it's 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. So it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that. Now, the only trick to this is to get the snare drum quiet enough that it doesn't interfere too much with the next part that we're going to do, and that's your left hand. The left hand is simply going to play on 2 and 4, just like when you play a straight rock beat. So you've got your skip beat going, 1, 2, 3, 4, then 1, 2, 3, 4. So then the next thing you want to do, and the last thing, is to add the kick drum on 1, 2, 3, and 4. It just goes right along with the ride cymbal, so no big deal there. So that sounds like this. Right? So now, it's a lot easier to play fast if you need to. So that skip beat by itself with just the right hand, you can play really quickly. Matter of going. Okay, so then if you want to get fancy with it, you can do things like fill in the gaps on the snare drum. So going. Right, so now all of a sudden you have this kind of locomotive thing going on. But remember, the simplest part of this is really the meat and potatoes of it, and it's what's going to make you sound like you really have a good shuffle in your bag. So remember, just start out slowly, start with quarter notes on the ride and on the kick drum, add that skip beat, flipping your hand, so less is more when it comes to the motion between the ride cymbal and the snare drum, and then lastly, put your left hand on 2 and 4, and you'll have a great shuffle.